Hey there, Hammer fam. Welcome back to HammeredHead. Today we got the Vintage Collection's Mandalorian Fleet Commander from The Mandalorian Season 3. This is one of those ones that's a bit of a head scratcher why Hasbro made him, just because he only gets like one or two lines in the show and he's super background. That's not to say we shouldn't get background characters. I think getting background characters is like a mainstay of Star Wars action figure collecting. But there's so many main characters we don't have, especially the villains, that it seems kind of silly to eat up a slot in the Vintage Collection's already pretty limited output with a guy like this. That being said, I do understand that he's essentially just a repaint of the pre-existing Mandalorian tooling, so it wasn't too difficult to make him, all things considered. And I will say that they did execute him very well from, looking at him just in the box. I think the image on the card back is great. Looks really cool there. My card is a little bent. I don't know if Hasbro Pulse packaged him bad or it was damaged in the shipping or something. That's a little disappointing. But the figure itself looks fantastic. I really love those paint apps. So they did put some effort into making him, noticeably different from the other Mandalorians we're getting. So it is a little refreshing. And the face sculpt looks really good too. It resembles the actor pretty well. So that's great. We'll get a closer look at him out of the box. And finally, that teal on the background and the name pill looks great too. Really good choice with that. Then he's got a really dope pose here. I love that action shot. And a little write-up. Mandalorian Fleet Commander. Serving under mercenary-turned-privateer Axe Woves, the Mandalorian Fleet Commander sits at the helm of a captured Imperial light cruiser. Yeah, so they really didn't even have much to say about him, other than just describing that he's a fleet commander. But, again, always happy to get background characters, and the Mandalorians do look really cool, so can never complain about having more of them. Let's take him out of the box and see how he looks. So he does look sufficiently badass. Like I mentioned, the paint apps on him do look pretty different from most of the Mandos we've been getting lately. Not so much in the design, but in the overall color choices. So he does still have that like dark blue base for his jumpsuit, but the sort of like white or lighter gray armor he has around really pops. It stands out really well and does make him look more unique than some of his peers. Even the rest of his Beskar, the blue here is like a more metallic, shiny blue, like on the top of his helmet and his forearms and his thighs. Like that looks pretty good. I kind of like the shine on that. But he does have some interesting paint apps around with the detailing. So he has like this chest thing. There's like a little marker on the top of his forehead, which looks great. Then looking around, the jetpack is pretty classic. Nothing super fancy about it, but it does look really cool. Good design, good amount of detailing with the paint. Back of his helmet even has some detailing. And then the sculpt all around, of course, is what we've come to know and love for most of the Mandalorians coming out. Nice belt, good creases on the jumpsuit. He's even got like this knee gun blaster thing, if that's what that is, on his sides here. And then the boots are actually really finely detailed too. It's a sort of a black sole with brown coming up to the ankles. And looking at the helmet, the rangefinder does move. So love to see that. So yeah, overall, I do appreciate how, relatively unique this guy does look. Not a whole lot to say about the accessories. This is one of the figures with a swappable head and helmet rather than a removable one. I know this style is kind of gaining popularity. I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest. I prefer the removable helmets. But it does look good. Great head sculpt. And the helmet does look good on him. But you can see we'll try to pop it off and put his head on. Yeah, so he still does look very good. Then we get the jetpack, which, again, we've already looked at. And we'll just pop it right in the back there. It is a pretty firm fit, which is good. Doesn't really feel like it's going to fall out or anything. And then the blaster is Standard Mandalorian pistol. Just one solid color, not painted or anything. So, whatever. But it fits in his hand very well, which is good. Yeah, one of the things I don't like about these swappable heads and helmets is the neck joint is coming like all the way out of his body when I tried to remove the head, so I gotta like use some pliers to actually remove that so I can swap the helmet on. Just another annoyance. And of course he has all the great workings of modern articulation. So he's got like that double barbell head / neck joint, which is really good. Ball joint shoulders, and this is like sort of a soft plastic on the shoulder armor, so no issue moving his arm around. Then of course ball jointed elbows with a great range of motion there. Ball jointed wrists with a decent range of motion. Then ball joint waist with a really good range of motion. Then like the barbell hips, swivel thighs, ball joint knees. Let's go a little less than 90, but it's not terrible. And then rocker ankles. So again, pretty much the same Mando sculpt as we've been getting, which has really great articulation. And that does it for the Mandalorian Fleet Commander. Like I said, he's not the most exciting character, but the figure is really good. It's a great Mandalorian sculpt they have going, and I'm glad they put it to this use, because the paint apps with that shade of blue and the white-gray armor he has on does help him stand out amongst his Mandalorian compadres. So I do like this guy. Any Mandalorian fanboys or people who really like the show or the faction or whatever, I'm sure you're going to like this guy. He'll fit in great with your collection. But let me know what you think in the comments. As always, thank you to my Patreon subscribers. Be sure to follow on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Check out the Patreon page. And don't forget, stay hammered.